Pubcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. I've always thought that was weird, actually. Whenever a host ever says that in radio or anything, welcome back.
Why?
Because you didn't go anywhere.
You went to commercial break, usually.
I did, maybe. I guess I should be welcoming myself back into your
welcome
car
back,
or your phone.
Welcome back to the show.
But you, the listener, didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, your ears are coming back to the show. Welcome
there you
back.
go. Okay, now that kind of makes sense. Anyway, welcome, Minnesota Pubcast. We got Patrick Disher run the board for us again tonight. Thank you. What, you want to talk yourself up? There you go.
Oh.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
Is everybody okay?
I'm fine.
All right.
It's a little quiet still, but it's fine.
Hold on.
I'm gonna put Patrick through the ringer.
Hold on, I got one question here. Why is Red potted up? Who's on Red?
Who is on Red?
No one. Okay.
Who's on first, guys?
There we go. I think that might be helping with the AC pickup there in the background.
I think. I can still hear it.
I don't think they can hear it on.
We'll
now they can because we mentioned it. Now
favorite-
they for sure are hearing it, and they're annoyed, and they're going,
like,
"What's that
white
stupid noise in the background?"
My favorite thing is when Mark Maron goes, "Holy shit! It just started downpouring," and then he's like, "Can you hear that?" And he goes silent for like 10 seconds. You can never hear anything.
Yes.
I'm like, Mark, no. You can't. You're like in a really well insulated garage.
Bill Burr was on. He was doing a little highlight thing on his podcast today, and he had Greg Fitzsimmons, and he said something like, "Hey, can you hear that in the backyard?" or something out the window. And Fitzsimmons was like, "That's my favorite part about podcasts, is because that's always the kind of shit going on in the background.
It's always strange
because we're never in those tiny little rooms that you do radio in, which are soundproof and they are beautiful, but it's a little more just kind of lax
real
here.
It's real.
This is real. All right, so you didn't want to talk about it, but this is the first thing I want to talk about. We have to talk about the Sandra Bland thing.
By saying I didn't want to talk about that's making me sound like I'm avoiding the subject.
No, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I mean, you just don't necessarily want to talk about police violence tonight. I don't blame you for that. I do not blame you for that at all. I want to touch on this just because I thought I found shit.
This is so good, by the way. What are you guys drinking tonight?
What else? What are you getting?
What are you guys drinking? Are you just drinking Blue Moon?
I'm on the Blue Moon now, yeah. I switched.
I'm drinking Coors Light, the official sponsor of many Alive and Social shows, my go-to beer. Nobody cares.
Great, Patrick.
I see a lot of Blue Moon around here, though, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the sponsor of the Southside Session, which we had last night with Mark Andrew.
That's right.
Great night. Blue Moon sponsors all the Southside Sessions. So.
Where can people find that, by the way?
They can find it at liveandsocial.com. It's on live stream as well. It was a great show. Mark Andrew was a killer, cool dude. We had a good night. We had food. We had beer. We had a good time. Tim Mahoney was singing. It was a fun night. Too bad you guys weren't here.
No, I had to work. Otherwise, I would have been here for sure. So.
I was working I went to a movie.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, that's fine. It was fun.
That's for work. That is for the show. So.
The last one that was live Tim Mahoney show was so much fun.
Yeah.
So the next one definitely.
There's one next Thursday, and I think I'm going to try to make. Well, we should do the show and come before the show, or do it. Yeah, we'll try to do the show.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
after,
we actually have to figure that out now because we have Nurse Fest guys on next week.
So
on air production meeting.
We should mention that. We should talk about Nurse Fest a little bit again tonight before we end it. But okay, so cop violence. We've talked about that a lot on the show, and I think this is like the Washington Post. I don't remember where I found this, but it was an op-ed piece, and what I'm reading on Twitter or social media, whatever, is that this is a race thing, and that everybody's pissed that another black person. She wasn't killed by a cop in this case, but another black person lost their life and was arrested for what seems like a very bullshit reason. But
petty misdemeanor, essentially.
For not signaling.
Right. I mean, that's a petty misdemeanor. That's a traffic violation.
It's nothing. But where I want to go with this is not just generic police violence, which we have talked about almost ad nauseum. I would hope not ad nauseum, but close. But what the point that this article that I read, and I did post it on our Facebook page, so if you guys want to check it out, was that this wasn't even necessarily a race thing. This was if a cop tells you something to do, if they order you to do something, you fucking do it, or they will have your ass. And I don't know if that's how it's always been. I don't know if that's just how cops have been throughout the history. But the point that this article brings up is that in a free country, judges order people because they're away from the situation. They're non-partial, and they're the ones that have the power to do it.
Yep.
A police officer, in theory, in a free country, has no right to tell you to do shit until you have broken a real law. And a petty misdemeanor is not breaking the law. That's not, you haven't hurt anybody. You're not threatening violence. You're not, there's a lot of things that you could be arrested for, which, be completely legitimate. But a cop cannot order you to do anything. And in this case, what happened was the guy told her to put out her cigarette during a traffic stop. Now, any cops listening or whatever, I'd love to hear some feedback on this.
Or a lawyer, please.
Or a lawyer. But I'm just wondering if that, because I was trying to think, why would he care? Other than he just wants to have power. But maybe it's a safety thing in that you could chuck that in their face and hit the gas. I don't know. I don't know if that's maybe a thing. I haven't been pulled over smoking a cigarette ever, I don't think. So that's never happened to me.
No.
But again, the point of this is that he tells her to put out the cigarette and she refuses because she has every fucking right to smoke a cigarette. And then he freaks out and threatens to tase her and rips her out of the car and blah, blah, blah.
And then he asks her to get out of the car, which she also does not have to do.
She has the right to stay in her car. And actually, the second she steps out of her car, now you can search her car.
Right.
Which is also bullshit.
Right.
But that's why cops never tell you that part. They never say that, like if you're at a party. I remember when we were underage, having parties in high school and stuff. If you open the door for the cops when they knock, you're fucked. They're in now.
Right.
But if you don't, they can't come in.
Yep.
What is that? I didn't say you could come in. I still am technically running the house as person opening the door. Mm-hmm. Why does if the door was just, and actually that's true too. If the door is open, the cops have every right to just walk in into any situation. If you're if they get a call to a house because we think something happened to somebody, if the door is open, they have every right to go in. What's that?
I said it should be the vampire rule.
What is that?
For any of you True Blood fans out there, vampires have to be invited into a house in order to enter.
Yes.
But I feel like that's a really good...
for police, yes, that rule should apply.
If I open the door and I say, I'm sorry, you can't come in, I should be allowed to close the door.
Correct. Yes.
And you should, you can stand out there as long as you fucking want.
And you can even actually, I don't even think you should technically have the right to be on my property looking in the windows.
That's
but
true.
if you got a call, that changes things. Again, just going on the party thing, if kids are partying, if you get a call for noise, now the police have a reason to be there. I think that gives them a little more leeway.
But they can't go through gates. They can't go into your backyard through a gate. I've had cops that do that at, actually, really funny story. My friends were having a party. We were all 21 at this point, just had all turned 21. And we had a party at my friend's house, and the cops came around back through the pool area, went into the sliding glass door after everyone was sleeping because there was a call or something that the music was too loud from a neighbor, and completely violated the homeowner's rights.
Yeah, what is that? Fifth Amendment, Fourth Amendment?
And my friend's dad is a federal judge. And he
nice.
fucking went off, and he was like, "How would the cops not know that pulling up to their house, that they're pulling up to a federal judge's house?"
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought you were going to say, how do they not know that they can't do that? I think they don't give a shit.
No, they don't give a shit.
Most people won't know.
But that's the problem with all these traffic stops. Is what you're saying is people do not know their rights.
Right.
I don't know my rights. I don't. I don't think I'm an idiot. But there's so many nuances to law enforcement and to the rights that I have that I would just be scared, and I'd just be like, well, I didn't really do anything, so I'm just going to do what you say. And that's where you start getting taken advantage of.
I think that I'm definitely being a hypocrite in a way here, because the best advice I would ever give anyone is when you're dealing with police, just do what they say, because it will be the only way you're going to get through that situation.
Right.
And that's how you get out of tickets, too.
Right.
If you don't want a speeding ticket, just fucking do exactly what the cop says.
Right.
And do not do anything until they're at your window. Keep your hands 10 and 2.
Yep.
Do not be grabbing for your license. Do not be going through your glovey. Just don't be an idiot.
Did you just call it a glovey?
The glove.
I think you just did.
I think I've always called it the glovey.
Could you reach in my glovey?
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if I've actually said that word out loud in 10 years, but yeah, it's the glovey. But so again, the point though of all of this though is this, that cops don't get to tell you what to do, and they do it all the time. Mm-hmm. Especially if you see them in like a public situation, like a big crowd. Oh my God, they think they can do whatever they want and tell you to do whatever they want. And we as a society have allowed that. We've decided we put that power in their hands because they're cops and they have a gun. And I think that, again, too, when this article kind of touched on it, but I've talked about this many times now too, is the reason that this is so fucked up is because police are doing more than they're supposed to. We've talked, the war on drugs is such a joke, and I think that really does play into this too. With every traffic stop is this car might have drugs in it. So now I have this other thing I'm looking for other than, is this person doing anything to harm society?
Right.
So I think that steps up the aggression level on the police end. And it makes them have to be this type of officer that's ordering you to do shit.
They need to meet a limit of tickets or of,
and that's the quotas.
The whole, the quotas are the whole, and so they're put in this position where in order to keep their job or to move up and get promoted, whatever it is, they have to meet certain quotas. And so they're going to become more aggressive. And some people are just naturally on a power trip. I'm not saying all cops are, but some people are in a position of power.
I would say a majority of cops, just because the personality it takes to want that job.
Sure.
You got to say at least 51%, have that mentality.
Right.
Tony Dean.
And then
just kidding.
Tony Dean's a good cop.
I'm just kidding.
And then mixed with people's lack of understanding for their own rights, you get this really bad mesh where cops don't trust us and we no longer trust them. But like, that's the best possible situation would be mutual respect on both parties, and there's a complete lack of that now.
And I think that's why now the equalizer, if there is one, is your cell phone camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you get pulled over and you know you've
camera.
done nothing wrong, and you don't have any shit in your car, tape the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And you will. Oh my God! If you do it, if it's at all secretive, like you have the camera showing, the second that cop does realize they're on film, the tone is unbelievable.
Yep.
It goes from "listen here, you little fuck" to "oh, excuse me, sir, I'm going to need to see your license." Like, it's so different. And I think that the chest cameras or whatever too, the body cameras that we are trying to get, at least in Minneapolis, I think that is the other equalizer too. Is if the cop knows people can look back at this situation with video and audio, they're going to act differently. They're just going to, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I do too, and I'm in a position where I'm not totally afraid of cops. I mean, I'm like a white 20-something female, but even as a white 20-something female, half of my direct interactions with police, whether it was me being pulled over, them showing up to a party, have been negative, which is like really, really terrifying to me. I've had twice where I've called cops on somebody else because I felt scared and threatened, and I did not receive the help that I did. And then another time where I got myself into trouble, very minor trouble, and I was like very verbally abused by a policeman. And it's just like, if that's the shit that I'm dealing with, I can't imagine where I can see where it escalates very quickly.
Yeah, and here's where I want to praise Carolla for one thing and then bash him for another really quickly. But where was I going with that? Because I have let's go the other way first of all. Carolla has been saying lately that he keeps pushing this too, that he was poor, so there isn't white privilege, or he mocks the fact that there is white privilege because he was poor and then he made it. And he says that that's basically proof there isn't white privilege. And I want to scream at the fucking
really
phone or whatever.
That way?
Yeah,
I would feel like he's the type of person that doesn't. Well, I don't listen enough.
He is a righty. He's for sure a righty.
Okay.
But he says that, and I'm sitting there going, you did make it from a poor, shitty family.
Yeah.
Probably with a lot of help because you're white. Like, that's actually why.
Or not a lot of setbacks because
easily.
You may have had to work really hard, but you didn't have the setbacks.
Right. And I don't want to. I don't even like that I said easily, because what Carolla did is he worked his ass off and made himself as a self-made man completely.
Loveline.
Well, starting with Loveline and Dr. Drew.
Oh, sweet. I love Dr. Drew.
I love Dr. Drew.
Oh, yeah. That was the best show.
I still listen to them. They still are on. They still have a podcast.
I think he's super interesting.
Ever since I met Jason, he's always been preaching about Adam Carolla.
I just love Carolla's podcast.
You know,
it's just
studies it.
It's the easiest hour of your day. But what he's not touching on is that the poor people in the minority community they have a road that's twice as tough to come out of it. Yep. Now you can do it, and there are plenty of black and Asian and what you name the race that have done it, but it's not as easy as when you're white. And I just wish he would stop with that. And I cannot remember the thing I want to praise him for. So
it's hard to put yourself in other people's shoes when you only know your own. You know what I mean? It's hard to gain perspective, and you have to be open minded. And some people just shut down to that. So
Well, sometimes it's easier to do that too.
Yeah, it is.
Let's where are we at? Are we close to break time? I just want to know because I want to get to True Detective, but actually no, this won't take long. Get the quotes ready though. All right, so last week I bashed the shit out of True Detective. I think you were pretty much with me, right? You're pretty much saying this is horseshit.
I'm in like it was. There's moments where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But I'm still watching it, and I'm still enjoying it.
But I was almost watching it like a car wreck for a while there because it was just like, wow, how do you put these four together and do this poorly and write this so badly? But this last episode kind of made you go, okay, there is a story here. It does kind of come together. It's not just 12 different things going on and nothing gets wrapped up. There's some things happened that made me think, okay, this show isn't terrible.
Okay, what was the scene for you? What were like the couple scenes that stood out? I'm trying to remember myself.
I don't know if I have a scene that hit me right away. I'm
trying to.
I guess I just liked that we're starting to see where this is going, and because we all knew where it was going from the beginning, but they would never really go there because we all know that this is a conspiracy and that there's a couple of high up people that are in charge of it, and it's that family that I can't remember the family that's been running that city or part of LA forever and blah 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 blah.
The mayor's family.
Yes, yeah, the Italian name. Yep. I can't remember the name, but they've been running shit forever, and I think that it's cool that they're finally going somewhere with this. But you're an 8-episode a season show. How does it take 5 episodes to finally get somewhere? I feel like you had to get somewhere within 3 episodes, or what are we doing?
When did the other True Detective pick up? At what point was that show not moving along?
I thought it was the 3rd episode that really started going. But
the first scene was scary.
Let's why don't you play me a Rust Cole quote? I don't even care which one. Just play one of them for me.
But this is not a story
and the way they're
about
delivered.
the food we
it's
eat.
just
It's a
fucking
story
fantastic.
about the food we don't
Why can't we hear
eat.
that?
There is a surprising
The only thing keeping a person decent is the expectation of reward and brother.
How are? Oh, you know what? That just played on air, but we can't hear it. It's not playing through our headphones. It's not playing through the board.
How do you get it to play through the board?
That's really weird. But it did play. I saw that it showed levels. Anyway, I don't know what that said, but to listen to these quotes from Russ Cole that we can't play apparently, or at least that we can't hear, and then hear the Vince Vaughn quotes are so bad. Well, you did, yeah. You had because you should put that IMDb or whatever up that had a million of them. But that's why I just went and picked up some highlights. But I mean, here's where I'm going with this.
Wait, I gotta read too.
Okay.
I contemplate the moment. I can't do his Texas accent. I could try Louisiana accent.
Maybe try, but I
can't do it. I wish I could. I contemplate the moment in the garden. The idea of allowing your own.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
All right, kill the Oliver one though. We don't want to hear that one yet.
Natural Resources
All right, so hold on. I have some quotes. So now we can play them because we have the input level up.
This is perfect with his accent.
Yeah, you have to have McConaughey delivering these lines.
Yes.
But hold on. Okay, Patrick, before you hit one, I just want to say this quick. So it's really slow this season, and it was really slow last season. But these fucking little lines from McConaughey and Harrelson's reaction to them make it so worth it. Let's hear a couple. They're pretty short.
If the only thing keeping a person decent is the expectation of divine reward, then, brother, that person is a piece of shit.
I love that. Yeah. So you know the context of that, right? Do we even have to talk about it?
I don't remember that scene.
He's basically saying that they're at a little church gathering, and he's like, well, if you need the threat of going to hell or heaven or whatever to be a good person, fuck you. Yeah. I love that.
Okay.
All right,
of course I'm dangerous. I'm police. I can do terrible things to people with impunity.
Why does he always sound out of breath?
I do terrible things
with impunity. I can't even. Impunity. But I like that. Okay, do you have the third one in there?
But this is not.
Oh no, the other Russ Cole one. About there's one more.
People incapable of guilt usually do have a good time.
I mean, those are funny. I thought I pulled ones that were a little...
No, they're more serious, but he's making a very serious point. It's the McConaughey delivery that makes them funny. Because I'm seeing him in the tight pants and the t-shirt with the cigarettes rolled up in whatchamacallit.
And his ponytail and...
Yeah. Talk about
his Lone Star.
The chicks, he keeps getting older and the chicks stay the same age. Oh, God. So to hear him being serious and delivering like life-meaning quotes are amazing. But so I don't know. I'm going to watch every episode of the show, obviously, because even if I think it's almost more fun if it gets worse. But if it gets good, obviously that's good too.
I want it to get better. I want this show to continue. I'm not like
I don't want this to be the last season of True Detective.
No, you're kind of sounding like a Republican on Obama here. Like I want him to fail. You know what? It'll be more fun to watch him fail.
Well, yeah, because it's a lot less serious. Because if I watch this, it's just comical. If a president fails, your country's fucked.
I wasn't laughing as much as you were, but there were some moments where I was just kind of. My concern is that there isn't a character that is as captivating as Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Matthew McConaughey, especially Woody Harrelson, was like the perfect sidekick to him. Yeah. I don't want to call him a sidekick.
Is the problem that there's four main characters?
He was his kind of his equal, and there might be a problem with that. Yes. And the only person that I'm really captivated by is Colin Farrell's character.
And what a stellar acting job he's done.
He's great.
Because even delivering some really bad lines, he's making that character work.
Yeah, he's the least painful. I mean, Taylor Kitsch or whatever his name is, who's very attractive, and he's just like brooding and angry and like
all the time.
Gay.
And what's her name is just always pissed too.
And Rachel McAdams is, I think has her little moments, but she's too guarded. Like she doesn't have these moments of weakness that I think Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, they were both really intense and guarded individuals, but then they had these really awesome moments of kind of breakdowns, and she hasn't had that, so I don't really care about her.
Sure. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and let's talk about how much fucking food we throw away in this country. And I'm so guilty of it myself, but I'm going to change, I promise, right here on the Minnesota Pubcast.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back online, along comes this hit show.
Do you want to do this? I will do this.
Gaby, let's not battle our guests.
Good. You're being nice. Yeah.
In a world full of hit shows, this one's the real deal.
I'm refusing to engage in an argument that doesn't exist.
I'm not arguing.
Twin Cities hit show.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Hey,
see, this is how fights start on pedal pubs. This is exactly. He's just all that redheaded anger just came up. It's all in his chest right now.
The Twin Cities Hit Show airs live daily, 9:30 to 10:30 on the Alive and Social Network.
Oh, Shannon, welcome to my world.
Hey, this is Terry.
And Tracy.
We are going to be starting a new podcast here in Minneapolis called Eat This, Twin Cities. Why don't you tell everybody what that actually means?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a weekly show on food, drink, music, events, and just other randomness. Anything great that's going on in the Twin Cities.
Plus, we're going to be doing some giveaways as well. That's right, prizes. People love prizes.
It'll be a ton of fun. Join us.
Tell us where they can find the podcast.
All right. It is eatthisTwinCities.com, or you can check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/eatthisTwinCities.
So until next time, eat this, Twin Cities.
It's been a Twin Cities food legend for almost 30 years. It's been the anchor for the Minneapolis Warehouse District since it opened. And you may not know that the Loon Cafe can provide their outstanding creations and much, much more for your gathering, whether it's a private party or corporate event. For custom catering beyond the menu, contact the Loon Cafe. They'll create foods that will amaze your guests. Leave the cooking to someone else. Contact Brian at the Loon Cafe for your catering needs. Call 612-332-8342 or visit looncafe.com.
This song was made to be a bump. It's just perfect for it. This is the new Tame Impala. Just came out this week, I believe.
I'll be seeing them in 2 weeks.
Oh my God, this new album is awesome! And now that it's out, you're gonna see so much of the new stuff. Oh
It's a little 80s for me sometimes. It's a little synthy.
It's a little new wave, yeah.
But I'm a little. I still like it.
This one's
I like
super
their other
mellow
stuff because it was much more 70s. Like,
yes,
but
more
this
like Pink
one's-
Floyd-ish.
Yeah.
This one's this is a little 80s, but I dig it. It's got a little Cure, almost a little depressed vibe, but I got nothing wrong with
Sometimes
it.
it gets a little
I dig
80s
it.
synthy, but it's
There's
fine.
At least one song on there I will not listen to, actually, but otherwise it's good.
Yeah, it is. I've listened to the full thing, but the lineup for Outside Lands came up today. Not the lineup, the schedule, so you can like really see who you can actually.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because until you know what times they're playing,
right?
You're like, and so Kendrick Lamar's and the Black Kendrick Lamar. That's like the whitest thing I've ever said.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go see that Kendrick Lamar's.
You heard about that?
Did you hear
Kendrick
about that?
Lamar's
He's
down
black
there?
and he does hip hop.
You know the hippity hop.
Him and the Black Keys overlap.
Ooh.
But I am not. I've listened to the Black Keys for years, and I'm not as familiar with Kendrick Lamar's music as much as I love him. And my friend loves Black Keys, and I'm like, you know what? If I've listened to them since I was 20, I should probably go see the Black Keys.
They put on a great show too. I think.
Yeah.
Their new album sucks, but everything before that is great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go see
that's
them.
gotta be a great show.
And then Sam Smith is right before Elton John.
Do you
at the same
expect him
stage.
to know you now since
Yes,
you've met him?
I think
Are you
he
gonna
will.
give him a wave and you expect one back?
Yes. Absolutely. So I'll be waiting in that area right before Sam Smith is Hot Chip. The problem is right after Hot Chip is Odessa. So
I don't think I know who Hot Chip or Odessa are.
Odessa's like really chill electronic, like not EDM, but like danceable.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like much dance
They're
music.
great.
Okay.
And they're really trippy and awesome. But I don't know. I think I might have to go wait in line, like actually get a good spot for Sam Smith.
Yeah. Sam Smith would be a good show too. Yeah,
And
but
then-
you've already seen him, so
I haven't seen him.
I
I've
thought,
never seen
you
him.
did. You just saw him on the street. That's
I
right.
saw him on
you
the
didn't.
street.
It was after his show that you
I
missed.
saw him
Okay.
after his show.
No, you definitely have to go see him then. You cannot miss that one.
In order to, that's the problem with one problem with music festivals. I won't complain too much because usually I can decide between two people pretty easily.
Yeah.
You have to wait around for a while to get a good spot. I waited through 3 shows to get a good spot
Yeah.
for Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And it was, it was a national, and it was like maybe it was like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs and then the national, and then Paul, which was fine. Like you can't complain, but you're probably missing somebody else
Yes.
that you want to see, and you can't
There's
walk
definitely
across the
somebody an hour before
Right.
that you're
right.
you're missing.
So it's like, do you go for 15 minutes and then like peace out?
And that is the tough part about these festivals is there's and listen to us, rich people problems basically here, but there's too much to do. There's too much good music going on. Really tough problem to have. All right, so we're on the entertainment front. And we want to stay there quickly before we switch to how terrible this country is.
Wait, haven't we already been to how terrible this country is? There's more?
Yeah, there's another reason. I'm sorry, another reason to hate this country. But you saw Trainwreck.
I saw Trainwreck.
Is the new Judd Apatow movie, if you guys don't know, and
Oh my
is
God, I wanna
supposed
see
to
that
be
so
amazing.
bad.
It's supposed to be amazing. I love her. I think she's great. And who's in it with her? Who's the guy?
Amy Schumer, Bill Hader,
That's who it is. Yeah,
Brie Larson. Bill Hader is fucking awesome.
He's great.
I love Hader.
He's hilarious. He's like this
Yeah.
goofy.
SNL.
He's this goofy looking dude, but he's so funny. He's so charming. He's actually a good actor. Like he's a realistic love interest for her in this movie. LeBron James is in it.
Who's actually supposed to be good? I heard he's actually really good.
hilarious
Yeah.
and like pulls through his part, and he plays this
And he
like
acts. I mean, he's acting, right?
he's acting. He's playing himself.
But he's
But he's
obviously
acting.
a
He's-
character.
So the whole concept is Bill Hader is an orthopedic surgeon and this renowned sports medicine guy.
Sure.
And Amy Schumer goes in to do a story on him for this men's magazine she works for, and so him and LeBron are supposed to be kind of buddies because he's doing rehab with him and things like that on his whatever, he has a problem with his knee or whatever.
Sure.
And LeBron plays himself, but like cheaped out, like wants to split the bill every time with Bill Hader, and like he came back for his $30 sunglasses. He drove an hour because he forgot his sunglasses.
Awesome.
And Bill Hader's like, you seriously came back for your fucking sunglasses? Your watch is $50,000 or $100,000, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I don't pass up a good sale. Like plays the perfect
pass up a good
cheap
sale.
Version of himself.
I like that.
He's
that a lot.
super funny.
Okay, before you continue, I just want you mentioned her job. She's a writer, and my friend that just saw it the other night, the one that was complaining to me about it, that was saying it was not maybe up to par by her standards, said that she's like, I kind of asked like, what's wrong? She's like, well, Schumer's character is a writer in New York. I mean, holy, like every fucking rom-com.
Absolutely.
Which that is a little bit annoying, and I'm a little surprised Apatow went there.
Yep.
You'd think he'd be a little more out of the box. He's not your stereotypical kind of guy.
No, he's not.
I thought that was a little weird. But hold on. So my question being, though, does that play into the movie enough to matter? Like, are you sitting there going, God, really stereotypical often? I feel like the humor would be enough to not have you there.
It didn't. So here's my thing, just as a writer in general, is movies with like where there's magazine writers or newspaper reporters or whatever, they never get it right. Like they never hit the nail on the head with what the profession is really like. Like the turnaround time for these articles is, I mean, this is really silly. This is me getting like to the nitty gritty of like from working on a magazine. The turnaround time is like 4 weeks for a fucking article. And you're like, whoa. In real time, these articles are planned like 5 months ahead of time. And actually is kind of a longer timeline in this movie. And then, there's always like the shitty boss, and she's always like, they're like vying for the executive editor position, and and all the writers are in their pitch meeting, and it's like, I'm able to overcome it because it's become such a Hollywood standard. Like, how are we going to get these characters to meet?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Could there have been another way to do it? Probably. Was her boss and her coworkers hilarious? The supporting characters? Absolutely.
Good.
Like, her pitch meetings were super funny, actually, and her boss was a total shithead. This like hot bitch that was just a total fuck. And so that it was fine. Like, I was able to, but the whole time I was like, fuck, they're like in this stupid pitch meeting, and like that's not really how it works in the magazine world. So,
I mean,
I totally understand where your friend's coming from.
It's like as me just watching any movie where they're in a radio studio and they don't have headphones on.
Right.
And they're talking to a caller.
Yes.
That's when you're really like, really? How the fuck would you be hearing that caller?
Welcome to W101.
That's just playing through the air, and it's going. I mean, you have any idea how that would sound? So that kind of stuff bothers me too. And
totally.
It's in a weird little sidebar, but I think the Newsroom was always praised because that was realistic.
I have not watched the Newsroom,
and I have only watched a little bit of the first season.
And
so
I should. But you were right. It is charming. Not the Newsroom. I don't think the Newsroom's charming.
No, I don't think it's supposed to be. Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be charming. Trainwreck is charming and funny enough. I like that word, charming. But it is. It's super charming.
Wow.
And funny enough to like get over a couple of those little stupid things.
Is it Apatow's best film? 4-Year-Old Virgin.
Funny People.
This is 40. Isn't that him
I
too?
would say it's right up there.
I don't think I've seen Funny People.
Oh, God, it's awesome.
I don't like Funny People.
I heard bad things at first, and I maybe never saw it.
And I thought it was a little too not funny.
I want to see it now.
I would say it is right. It's not in the weirdest way, since it's Amy Schumer. It's not as raunchy as 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Interesting. I would think Amy would go raunchy.
It's raunchy, but it's not like 40-Year-Old Virgin's like pussy
that's a
every
bunch of
other
dudes.
fucking
yeah,
minute.
that's
like,
a different type of humor. That's dude humor.
And Amy, there's a couple really funny sex scenes where she fucks this huge muscular dude with veins popping out of him, and she's trying to get him to talk dirty to her, and it's really fucking funny because he can't.
That would be awesome.
But it's not as raunchy as that. It's realer and more emotional than Knocked Up, more relatable. It's just you just like the characters more.
I thought Knocked Up was really good though.
But it's just as funny, if not a little more funny than Knocked Up. Okay. But Knocked Up is one of my favorite Judd Apatow movies.
I love Knocked Up too.
I think Knocked Up is stellar.
And I thoroughly enjoy this movie. If you like Knocked Up, if you like 40-Year-Old Virgin, this is right up your alley. It's super funny. It's super enjoyable. It's just a fucking good movie.
Hold on. Has anyone in this room seen the Pixar one though?
No.
Oh my god! How have we not seen that?
I don't think I'm ready to cry that much, man.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Adam Sandler one?
No, Inside Out.
Amy Poehler, Inside Out.
Oh yeah, I heard that got like
emotions.
like 9.5 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's like 98 on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's like the highest movie ever.
Here's why I haven't seen it yet though.
Because you know you're gonna cry.
No, absolutely not. I like to...
now I want to take you to this movie because grown men had been going to this movie sitting next to their little daughters saying I was sobbing into like my popcorn trying to like fucking hold it together.
No, the only reason I haven't seen this movie yet is partially because I'm single, I guess, but the main reason being I like to go to movies by myself and I cannot go to that movie by myself.
You can't.
I become a pedophile the minute I walk into that room. So it's got to be with,
Do you want to go to the movie with me?
But
we should do a pubcast field trip.
We should.
We could record it. We'll take bets to see if Jason cries.
I think that's illegal.
Not the show.
Oh, okay.
No, you could talk before and after. We could have a little. Yeah, we could have a little
YouTube,
little clips.
Put the clip.
That's our new thing on the Alive and Social Network. YouTube clips for all the shows before and after.
Oh,
holy shit, we hit 1995.
Yeah, I know. It's nice. It helps out a lot with like getting people to like know what's going on the show.
It's
no, I mean like we got to the year 1995
Probably the
where
year
YouTube
you were
was
born.
popular. No, I'm kidding. YouTube is actually still no, but I'm saying like I don't know about you guys, and I would love to see how this works, but I don't go to YouTube except for specific things that I want to watch or hear. So I don't subscribe to YouTube channels.
Yeah, I go there for free music.
I have a few I've subscribed.
Are they like comedians or something?
I subscribe to My Drunk Kitchen.
No,
which I really enjoy.
Is that just a YouTube thing? Like that's what they're known for?
Yeah,
okay.
Hannah Hart. She started off by just going to different people's kitchens and making really shitty food and filming it. And now she's done so well and she's so funny that she travels all around the world and she just meets up with different comedians and different YouTube stars and just random people. That she did one in Minneapolis, and they just cook shitty food from that region and get shit faced.
Wow,
and it's pretty great.
That's awesome.
And then Jenna Marbles. I follow Jenna Marbles.
Well, you guys both subscribe to Tim Mahoney's Cabcast YouTube.
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
obviously.
Yes.
But I'm just I feel like there's YouTube is almost it's pretty much as on demand as anything else, but I feel like it's not. There's why does it feel like there's a step? Because I even have the app. Like what am I missing, or am I just old?
Here's how I feel about YouTube. Maybe with kind of like vloggers now. It sounds so fucking weird.
That's a thing though. Vlogger.
I think that's a really popular thing for like teens and tweens that we don't want like makeup tutorials or like these young guys who are probably now 19, 20, 21, but back when they were 16, 17 made a shit ton of money being video vloggers and millions of hits, teen girls, and it would just be kind of like talking about their life or making jokes and having guests, whatever. I think that is a generation before us.
Okay.
And I think those type of people have it like on their homepage. Like that is part of what they check every day. Where when I open up my computer in the morning, I open up Facebook and I open up Twitter and I open up my email.
Yeah. And those guys aren't on Facebook anymore.
Right.
They're probably on Twitter, but they're on Periscope and they're on YouTube, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like there's a next YouTube around the corner that we don't have yet. There's a new thing coming that we haven't seen yet.
I mean Vine and
I hate Vine, by the way. You can be really funny in 7 seconds, but it's also like cheap humor to me because you can't be. I don't know. What do you do in really 7 seconds that's really that worth it? I don't know. I don't get it. I feel like that I'm a little too old for that one. I feel like that everybody I know that's like 25 and under loves that, but I hate Vine.
You know what happened to me in Vine? It was a sad story. I got real intense about Vine for like a summer. Like 2 years ago, I was just like fucking into it. And I was
into watching it, or were you doing
both.
your own?
I was so into it. I just loved it. And then I burnt out. I got old and I got tired. I got above 25.
See?
A couple years ago.
See?
I aged.
That'll do it.
And I was like, this is so and you always need your headphones or you need to be in a space where you can hear it. That's really frustrating.
Yep.
That's super frustrating.
Yeah, that most of the things that I watch on on social media, I'm in a place where I don't want the audio to be like. I'm in public. I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Good old fashioned GIF.
I don't even know what Vine is.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard about Vines. People
Vines,
say but I didn't understand what
7-second videos or 6, whatever it is.
What everything's going to, just these short little hits.
We have no attention spans.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very overwhelming to me.
That was something actually, and maybe we'll touch on that here quickly after we get to what we meant to talk about in the first place here. But the technology with the kids thing, that was what we forgot. That's why I don't think I put it on the list. That was on the list.
No, it's on the list.
Yeah, it was on the list.
There.
Okay.
Go right to it. Go right there.
Jesus. Go there right now. Sorry, those are little
we've already
Bill Burr
talked
reference.
about it.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about
break. We just took a break.
No, we're already back to break time. He's running the board. He's involved.
We're at break time, Molly.
Am I drinking a lot and talking a lot tonight? Because time is moving real.
It's the
drinking a lot. That's for sure.
What are you drinking, Molly?
Oh yeah.
I love that little sounder you guys do. What are you drinking today?
Oh, and
we got
promo.
We're the Pubcast.
Yeah.
We gotta get a new promo.
We do.
I need to pull it together.
I'm just drinking Captain and Coke.
Nice. Jason's
I got the good old Blue Moon.
Yeah. This is my favorite thing on the golf course, by the way.
Captain? And
I told you
soda?
this. Captain and Coke, my favorite thing in a plastic cup, stays cold. Even if it gets watered down, it still tastes all right. It's my favorite thing on the golf course.
We got to make a promo out of that.
That is pretty good right there. We'll sneak that in. Hey, Captain, if you guys sponsorship. No, let's go. We'll come back. We'll play that. I got a John Oliver clip I want to play for you guys. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and then maybe we'll get into how
Mom versus Diner.
Oh God, Mom versus Diner. We should get into that one too. Right here, all of that next on the Minnesota Podcast.
Join longtime radio personality and producer Kelly Guest and friend, CEO of Fantasy Gifts, Colleen Bertino, as they talk about all things sex, men, women. Lend them your ears and learn everything you wanted to know about sex and intimacy. Only here on the Alive and Social Network. The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
Hi, everybody. This is Alyssa.
And this is Liz.
And we're with The Focus Radio,
where our focus is to bring you resources to grow your business and double your income.
Join us on Mondays from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Time. TheFocusRadio.com.
This one we already played?
No, it's a different Tame Impala. Or is it just a continuing?
It's another Tame Impala. But
yeah,
I
you
played,
loaded it.
No, okay. I just didn't know if this was the first one. It sounds similar.
Get off Tame Impala's dick.
No, I had to play Tame Impala tonight because of the new album. I had to get it. You really
there
down.
are new albums out there.
It's kind of a nice jam.
Oh yeah, I love this shit.
Okay, turn off so I don't get in trouble.
Yeah, sorry. So okay, you got that John Oliver clip ready, or could you throw that in there? Because I want to let that set it up real quick. He kind of touches on what's going on here, and he has a little news clip in there. There we go.
This is not a story about the food we eat. It's a story about the food we don't eat, because there is a surprising amount of it.
A report by the Natural Resources Defense Council says that as much as 40% of all the food produced in the United States never gets eaten.
Americans throw away $165 billion worth of food every year. That's about 20 pounds per person every month.
Food waste is like the band Rascal Flatts. It can fill a surprising number of stadiums, even though many people consider it complete garbage. But between producers, sellers and consumers, Americans are throwing out a third or more of our food, and the amount we throw out has increased by around 50% since the 1970s. At this rate, in 40 years, when you order pizza from Domino's, they'll just deliver it straight to the nearest dumpster. As they should, but that's not the point here.
Okay, so we waste, fucking newsflash. We waste in the United States, but I guess I just hadn't thought about how much we waste, and then where that story goes. And if you guys don't watch This Week yet, Jesus, get HBO, go watch This Week. The show is so good, and he does every week. It's a 15-minute story on a huge headline, at least in his mind, and he crushes it. But
I wish for America's sake. I'm not trying to put down the guy that's taking over Jon Stewart. I think he might be great.
He might be great.
Yeah. Is that my mic or my headphones that are low?
I'm not sure. Probably both. Probably your headphones.
Oh, no worries.
On-air production meeting.
It's okay.
Imagine Molly needing headphone adjustment.
You know what?
Imagine that.
Sometimes I just need what I need. Jesus. I'm not trying to say that. Can't even remember his name right now. Good-looking South African guy.
Either. Yeah, really funny.
Anyway,
he was on
he's
Comedians
super
in Cars
funny,
Getting Coffee.
and he's really smart. And anyway, he's going to be great. But too bad they passed on John Oliver forever ago, or just didn't get on the John Oliver train quick enough because he got signed on to HBO. Because I think that someone like John Oliver and his show really benefit from. The U.S. really benefits from someone like John Oliver.
Yeah,
and someone like Jon Stewart.
I think that John Oliver and Bill Simmons, by the way, just signed with HBO. The reason they're there is because he can bash the shit out of Bud Light Lime. He can bash McDonald's. You can't do that on Comedy Central. You're going to have McDonald's ads in your show on Daily Show.
That's true.
You're gonna piss off sponsors, whereas with Oliver he has none. He can say whatever he wants.
That's true.
Now Bill Simmons gets to do the same thing, which is fucking awesome.
And HBO, the smartest thing they can do is just release the clips as much as they can and let it go viral.
Yeah. No, and
I think they are.
And what they're going to have to do is figure out how to. Everybody's cheating to get them, and they made their online app, which is awesome. But that's in order to keep making money, they're going to have to find another route outside of the cable companies, which is where they're making the vast majority of their money right now, and that's going to disappear. And I don't want the art to suffer from that because I think that's a possibility.
I agree.
But so you hear this?
You don't want True Detectives writing this stuff.
Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, the cable companies have taken in the shorts, and then you get this season of True Detective. That's what happens. So everybody go buy cable. No, don't do that. So what I find so interesting about the fact that we waste all this food and where John Oliver goes with this, and it's super interesting and actually local, because Eric Paulson, Minnesota rep, was part of this. It's illegal. No, it's not illegal. It's legal right now, temporarily, for I don't even know. I would say maybe he's talking more of the bigger picture. So like huge farms or whatever, the biggest producers of food, it's right now temporarily legal for them to donate it. But it might not be in January.
I know.
So every year, if you're a huge food provider, you have this decision to make whether or not you're going to spend all of the money to box up, package, ship, all that stuff, the food that you don't sell. And the reason that's a gamble is because the law is temporary. That fucking Congress won't just make it permanent. And Eric Paulson, local guy, tried to put it into a bill that passed through the House of Representatives and went to the fucking Senate, and the Senate turned it into a bill about Israel.
What?
Literally took the bill, changed all the language, and then passed it. Took out Paulson's provision completely. There's nothing about food in the bill, I don't believe.
Well,
it took and that's how our fucking government works, which in a way I kind of like how convoluted it is. But
I've never heard anything like that before.
Oh, that happens. I think that happens all the time. Where
I'm sure
bills get sent to the Senate from the House and just ripped apart.
I mean, I know that they get ripped apart, but I've never heard it go from one industry, like one issue, talking about food safety, for instance, and all of a sudden talking about sanctions on Israel.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Right. I don't remember exactly what John Oliver talks about it, but
I know that it's essentially watered down to shit sometimes because no one can agree. But
or you get all the other people saying, I want my pork, or you get the corporations lobbying against so-and-so. Yeah.
Sure.
But just the fact that this is illegal. or not illegal, but it's
I know
it's to the point where I completely get why would you risk spending all that money because you can, I'm going to imagine you get a tax break when you do it when it is legal, when this is the current law, but to not know year to year you can't put that into your business plan. You just can't do it. Why would you? And then we waste what was it, $100 and something billion worth of food every year, and it's kind of like I just read an article the other day about how Europeans think we're insane how we have AC everywhere, but we have AC everywhere.
Because it is insane.
They've never thought about that.
We don't need that fucking AC right now. We could have the window open and a fan in here.
But we want
fine.
70 degrees everywhere.
I know.
Every day.
And I think it's fucked up.
I'm an anti-AC guy. Never have it on in my car. Never have it on in my house unless I need to sleep in.
Why wouldn't you have it on in your car?
Because my car got broken into and I have a broken window. But besides that, I never do anyway. Because I just don't. I don't know.
You just prefer the windows down?
Yeah, I just sweat. It's fine. You
really
get used to it. Yeah.
See, because I think that's where Europeans are coming from. It's just they've just been used to it. They're hot in the summer. That's how it is. Yeah. And we here, my whole life I've always had AC. We had the window units when I was a little kid, and then we had central air.
Because I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mean to but
not at all.
On every front, whether it's food or driving or houses, we get anything we want. Because if anyone tries to regulate us from getting anything we want, we throw a fucking fit. Yeah. So what does that turn into? If all of a sudden I go to a restaurant and they run out of something, let's say I go to a buffet and there's no more mac and cheese because they didn't plan another 3 trays of mac and cheese for me, people get fucking pissed. And we throw a fit.
Yeah. And then the restaurant comps your food.
Right. And we are such consumers. And we can never just say, okay, that's fine. We want what we want when we want it. Yeah. And if we don't get it, then that's a problem. Well, and that has turned us into very wasteful people.
And I think that
gluttonous people. That's all I can say about that.
He nailed the thing, or I think the date is very important in saying that we've gone up 50% in our waste since 1970. You know what happened since 1970? The people that lived through the Great Depression are no longer around.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I remember my grandparents, they saved everything.
Everything.
You never wasted, and I don't just mean
Saran
food.
wrap.
I mean everything. They would reuse fucking oil in their cars. They did not screw around, and it's because they knew what it was like to be without, and we don't. And we just expect and like you said, and it's this culture of the individual, which I championed for many years as a right winger, but this championing the individual has turned us into this thing where we not only do we want what we want when we want it, but you'd better fucking have it, like you're saying. You don't have that item tonight? Well, I demand it. We don't have it. Too fucking bad. Right. Get something else or go somewhere else. But that's not the mentality now. Now it's you owe me an apology. You owe me the next meal. You owe me this meal. It's you owe me.
It's also, not to interrupt here, but also a little bit of a factor that plays into that is the growth of the big agricultural businesses. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, there were small farms producing small amount of food.
Yep.
Now we have GMOs. We have all these huge agriculture companies just taking over.
And we are able to produce what we need to produce and more.
Yeah.
To meet the demand of kind of what we've turned into, and there's no more sense. This is going way out there now, but there's no more sense of community anymore. And what is best for the greater good? I feel that a lot of the time is lost on us. And all we care about is what is beneficial to my immediate surroundings and my immediate life.
I wish there was a way that you had to live with your garbage.
Right.
You could only.
It's there. It's gone.
Yeah, it's picked up every week.
Goodbye.
If it was picked up once a year, you would live so differently, and shit would be packaged differently. Everything would be so different. But it, like you said, it disappears. It doesn't disappear, folks, but it does to you.
Yeah,
it disappears every week, and it takes no effort. Minimal effort. You have to put it on the curb. That's literally what it takes. And
And we bitch about having to take out the trash.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember hating that chore, which was the easiest chore of all time.
Relationship problem. Who's going to take out the trash? Walk your fat ass down the fucking steps of your house and take out the fucking trash.
Instead of actually like going to the landfill yourself and doing the fucking work. Like, yeah, I think that's amazing that we even call that a chore. That's a chore to move a trash can 100 feet so that somebody else will get rid of all the shit you waste every week. And like I said too, I think the huge thing would change with packaging, because if we had to pile that shit up, we would as consumers demand that things would be done differently.
Yeah.
And so another thing that I just take away from this John Oliver piece is we don't just throw away food, and I don't mean individuals, I mean these big corporations. They throw away food that's good, and we also have these goodbye dates or expire dates on food that are arbitrary. There's no actual laws on them.
Right.
Like there's very, very minimal laws that tell you when certain foods go rotten.
Right.
So again, we're taught as consumers only take the best. So or you deserve the best, I think is actually the better way of putting it. So how many vegetables? I mean, Oliver makes this point too. Tomatoes. If it's a perfectly round tomato, that one will go to market. If it's a little misshapen, you can't even sell it. You don't even bother. So how much food do you waste just by the look of it?
Right.
And we have how many billions? I mean, at least a billion people probably starving in this world.
Right.
I mean, how many developing countries could we just be shipping this food to? Again, we couldn't do it quickly enough, but that's not the point. The point is, I think we all, as individuals, do need to look in the mirror and just go, I shouldn't order anything that I'm not going to actually finish. And
if I'm not going to finish it, how am I going to use it later?
Correct.
So that I'm not wasting it?
Yes.
And I will add in here, Minneapolis is rolling out a complete compost program. So everyone in Minneapolis will be getting a compost bin if you sign up for the compost program within the next year.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. So I'm provided with like a big, I don't know how big it's going to be. I think it's going to be, and I can throw away, put in a compost bin, not throw it away, any food item I haven't eaten.
Okay.
So
That's
bananas. Cool. I could go name more food items.
Well, no, sure. I mean,
cereal, eggshells, like whatever. And they take all of it and they bring it to a composting center and they turn it into dirt and manure for agriculture.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously much better than just throwing it in a landfill, which we do with so much stuff. And I guess I didn't realize either that it creates methane gas, which
insane
just
amounts of
add
methane
that
gas.
to the list of reasons why not to waste. I mean, and I don't know if I understand our culture, because actually, it's almost cool to waste. You're like you just said, it's funny and it's comedic that LeBron James would go back to grab something that he already purchased instead of just saying, fuck it, I'll waste it.
Right.
We laugh because, well, you're rich enough to go buy another pair tomorrow, dude. Like, who cares? And we look up to you because you're rich enough to do that.
Yep.
We need to really stop with this. And well, think about making it rain, for Christ's sake. That's been a term for 20 years now. That you're cool because you're just throwing money at strippers. That makes you cool. And burning money. I mean, that's another thing. Super rich people think is so cool. Or joke about, the lightest cigar with a $100 bill or something.
Yep.
Like that. Why does that make you cool? What is about that makes us feel special?
I don't know.
I got so much shit I can just waste it. Like and we've taken it to our food.
I don't know. It's become a super mindless activity. It's how do we turn the story around where people are now conscious again? I think like single sort recycling was an awesome thing. I'm speaking very locally here in Minneapolis. We got single sort recycling, so you don't have to do any extra work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it increased by like 75% or something, which is really cool because I think people do want to recycle.
I think most of the Twin Cities are doing that.
How do you make it easy? Yeah. How do you make it easy for them?
You can sort it at the place.
Right.
That's true.
Right. You can. Trash, compost, those three things now. I wish that this is me. This is the liberal in me. I wish there was a way to fucking tax people who throw away too much shit. Like, if you're going to have this many pounds of things thrown away, we're going to tax you more. We're going to fine you
I've always been
Watch
for usage. I have no problem with usage fees. You know,
I mean,
and
are you all about
take
the item tax? What do they call that tax where it's only on what you buy?
Or you pay like 25% on everything forever,
so
and then you don't get taxed on your income and stuff.
What is that? What type of taxation is that called?
Oh shit! What is that called? What you're talking about.
Where instead of income tax, instead of
I think
flat
we all know
tax,
what you're talking about. It's everything has a sales tax, basically.
Yes.
And it's a user tax.
Yeah, and it's huge. But there's a term, and I know what you're talking about.
It's like, well, if you're super rich and you want to buy 3 boats, well, then you're going to have to pay a massive tax on those boats. But you can probably afford those boats, and you can probably afford the tax on the boats. That type. It's a usage tax, essentially.
Yeah, I've always thought, I think it is a crime that you receive a check with taxes already taken out. I think that is fucking insane. And this country will never be the same until there's a day where you pay taxes again. And I know rich people
you pay in, you mean?
Right. Well, like quarterly, weekly, monthly, something. You owe the government a check because then you're going to go, wait a minute, what the fuck am I getting for this? And I think everyone should be doing that. And there are, we've talked about, I'm not totally anti-government. There are quality things and necessary things to life that you get from government.
Right.
So, if they take let's just say they take 10% for me, I'd go, oh yeah, okay, I can probably understand that. I use the roads and blah blah blah. But you take more than that, and now wait. And I think there's a lot of people out there that would damn near.
Right.
Then you'd be, wait a minute. Go ahead, hit it. Well, next week we're going to do Nurse Fest. We're going to talk about Nurse Fest, which is coming up very soon. And then I don't know when we'll get to this kids technology thing. Maybe we won't, but it's
what are we supposed to get to?
The kids being tied down by technology and anxious and shit over social media and all this. I mean, it's kind of a recurring theme, I guess.
I think Mom Diner, if she's on Old News by next week, needs to be brought up. Because she's fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah, the Mom Diner thing. You guys know about that. Maybe we'll talk to the guy from Nurse Fest a little bit about that, too. Sure. We can't talk about Nurse Fest for an entire hour. Or maybe we can. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week talking Nurse Fest and whatnot. Good night.
See ya.